right, and we are just about to get going. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to today's Sunday Open Daily Race. My name is Sorcerer Finch. We are also having Terry Pagula and Eternal September tracking for us. And today on Restream, we are featuring Adalor, Deep Fried 87, Signums, and Slumberjack. We're about to get set in the next couple seconds. We have an open seed, so we're going to start out as if Zelda has been rescued, and we are underway. And we start out with the Moon Pearl in Link's house, and then the lamp in Sanctuary. So that's going to be a nice find. We had 3 folks start in the. Okay, and we have looked like a red crystal up in Hera, and at least 1 crystal in Eastern. I didn't catch what the desert was. Ooh, that's a good tree pool of bombs. So Slumberjack, Deep Fried, and Signums are going to be able to complete a lot of Kakariko Village when they start over there. Meanwhile, Adalor also getting those bombs from this tree pool. Uncle just having 20 bucks for us, though. And Adalor being able to farm up some money. And there's the Power Glove already. We're already a good portion of the way towards Dark World access with the Moon Pearl and the Power Glove. And the Lumberjack Ledge just has a piece of heart. So we will likely not need to beat Aghanim unless we really, really want 20 hearts. From here, Adalor is going to be making his way to the Lost Woods. While Slumberjack, Signums will be taking that Power Glove and going immediately to the back of Escape for a quick 3 items. Having bombs in that tree pool, and it's just arrows in the Lost Woods spot. And I see we have a bottle and bombs and a map. So Dark Cross could be something. Drop place for Adalor being 300 rupees. So there's, on one hand, there's Zora money, but we're going to be spending 100 immediately in bottle for the bottle vendor. So not necessarily a save Zora money yet. Okay, so it is crystals all through the Light World. Regular crystals in Desert and Eastern, and a 5/6 crystal up in Tower Hera. Which means, of course, that there will be 3 pendants definitely in the Dark World. About half of the dungeons. So that could work out really well for our runners. And yeah, being able to farm for some of these bombs is worth farming money. And we, in Blind Hut, we have a shield, we have armor, we have a blue cane. So that'll be a nice safety. And the hammer. Ooh, that is one heck of a Blind's Hut. Get yourself properly outfitted. Shield, armor, hammer, blue cane. Get that invincibility. And in Kakariko, well, we definitely have Zora money now. So with that Moon Pearl, you could fake flipper your way up. And there's the mirror. This is a loaded Kakariko Village. Piece of heart, even more money, and another piece of heart. So yeah, that's that's a pretty nice start. I'll say, what will the catch be? I mean, and there's the slight Zora scam. The bottle vendor went to the same, I think the same MBA program. As the rest of our runners make their way through Kakariko and Granny's hut. She was hiding a book. in the chicken hut. So there is going to be desert access. Yeah, with this, there's probably going to be, and there's red mail. So already, our racers will be able to go through the game, only taking about a quarter damage. So that's a pretty nice start. Um, all right, and just 10 arrows in the library. So we're not yet required to have boots. We could still be boots locked, depending on desert, and it's just a piece of heart on the race game. So Adalor will likely be starting from Link's house as Deep Fry, Slumberjack, and Signums continue their way through Kakariko. And from here, Adalor is likely going to make the South Shore checks between Mini Moldorm Cave, the dam, and Sunken Chest. Oh, and Deep Fried, remembering to get that bottle. I don't remember if Adalor actually checked Sick Kid, which would only be 100 rupees. It's not the end of the world, and there's plenty of money in the seed here. Deep Fried opting to save and quit from Kakariko Village, so will not have that knowledge about the about race game, and looks like we do have just 20 rupees in the sunken part. Adlor is going to be going towards desert. This is an interesting play. I mean, you do get Agina's cave. You get this is a good kind of divergence right here, um, especially because desert is in logic. So there could be something. There could be something on the ledge. Agina could have something. And Slumberjack gives us actually our first look into. All right, so I see Pod is the green pendant, and then other pendants in Skull Woods and Misery Mire. And the other 5/6 crystal is Swamp Palace. So Swamp Palace is going to be required. Skull Woods, Misery Mire, and Pod may not. It does depend, though. And Deep Fried taking going up the mountains, Slumberjack into Hype Cave. We have a lot of early divergence here. And the seed really gives for that as well. Let's see how our hype cave is with the bottle. 10 arrows, rupees. The Cana Samaria. Okay, so that makes it a pretty hype cave right there. That is going to be 100% required. And while it looks like there was a key in desert, a small key, so that's going to be there are going to be 2 items in here. And there's item number 1, just 20 rupees. Looks like Spectacle Rock is pretty empty right now. And there's the big key. So we may not be boots locked in desert. So this could end up working out pretty well for Adalor. We got a question in chat. The red cane is the cane of Samaria. That is correct. And the blue cane is the cane of Berna. One makes blocks. The other makes you invincible. Oh, and Deep Fry is going to be able to check this tablet. And it's just a little piece of love. And there is not a second item on the torch, so we will be able to complete desert. And full clear desert. Meanwhile, Deep Fried going into Tower Hera. Signum's getting bullied a little bit by those Dedaroks, which can certainly be one of the most frustrating enemies in the game, just with their with how they move and just their overall what they do. All right, looks like there was the big key in the Hera basement, and Signums does take a death, unfortunately. That is not a great location either. and that is a decent strategy, especially if you're low on hearts, and you have the Cane of Burna, is to just use the Cane of Burna and uh, just to use that. Um, and it looks like Adalor will be checking what Agina's Cave is, and it's just a little bit of money, so that's a save and quit right there. And there's the Fire Rod up in Hera. So that's a good item one. All right, and Deep Fried will be going ahead and checking. All right, so the second item will either be in the Hera basement or it will be on Moldorm. Meanwhile, Adalor making his way towards Mini Moldorm Cave in the South Shore checks. There's going to be 5 items in here, so that's a good. It's a good item location. But depending on how you tackle this room, there are a couple of options to do that. And we get a bomb restock, the flippers. So that's going to be Zora completely in logic. Piece of heart, and it looks like it's not quite sure what that last item is, but the flippers opens up even more. And we actually, I think that might give us Swamp Palace access already. All right, and the island and the Lake Hylia Island is just going to be 20 rupees, so we won't be worrying about that. Deep Fried is working on Moldorm, getting bullied a little bit, but there is Hammer Shot number 3. And it is a key, so unfortunately, that is going to be one item left in the basement. And Adalor going up towards Waterfall Cave, checking what Floating Island is just going to be 20 rupees. Deep Fried is going to be checking out. Okay, there's a single arrow. The Waterfall Cave, unfortunately, is a bust. Slumberjack about to take down Land Molus. One of the interesting things, like, we are about 12 and a half minutes in, and we're still mostly on 3 or 4 heart containers. Deep Fried opting to use that Cane of Burna, actually, to be able to sneak past some of these mini Moldorms. It's a good play. Just, you don't want to take a death here. You don't really have great weaponry. Unfortunately, it's just for 20 root. Lumberjack in the Land Molus fight. Signum's taking down Moldorm. And let's see what Zora had for us today. We have a mushroom, so there's a fetch quest item right there. Also could potentially be used. It could also end up being used for the if you want to do a fake powder trick. Upper Paradox Cave just has a couple bombs and a little bit of money. And Adalor is going to immediately turn in that mushroom. And there's a fighter sword over on Deep Fry side. That is the first sword of the game, up in Paradox Cave. One with another heart container, red boomerang, a little bit more money. This is a pretty rich seed so far. And Signums does take another death, unfortunately, in Tower Hera. And the good news is it's in Hera, so you don't have to reclimb the mountain. You can just try again. Go for the coffee break glitch, where as long as you're standing on the blue tiles when they come up, you will remain having iframes and be invincible, which is extremely useful. All right, and Adlure now checking escape. Deep Fried about to get that cane of Samaria. Jack is about to get check some of these southwest checks. Yeah, for about 15 minutes in, being able to check like K45 is a pretty good sign. Of course, it could also mean that the seed is going to slow down considerably. But we will see. And Signums does get the basement for the bow. That is worth it. And I think Signums, of all the folks to go through Hera, which I think Deep Fried also. If someone could correct me, for all the Hera activity, I think Signums is the only one with that bow in the Hera basement. That's a that's tough. That is tough. Oh wow! And Deep Fry gets the snipe on that Moldorm right there. Adalure going over to Village of Outcasts. Deep Fry getting his flippers. Yeah, from here you've got the hammer. A sword would be nice to go for Thieves Town. And okay, so Deep Fry skipped Hera Basement. Oof. Yeah, that's going to make things tough. Deep Fried is going to be checking the Lake Hylia Island right now, but it's just going to be 20 rupees, so not really much there. Adlure is giving us our first look into Skull Woods, though. We have key, so we can stay in. We can stay in the dungeon itself. Even though we have red mail, it's one of those things where if you die inside the dungeon, you just go back to the beginning of the dungeon. If you die outside, you need to rewalk. And there's item number 1. Looks like a shield, progressive shield, right there. And Deep Fried picks up his Master Sword from a hobo under the bridge. So that's a good find. And judging by that work, it looks like Adalure got the big key from the pinball chest. All right. Yeah, we're still looking for item number 2, and got to be careful with those Gibdos right there. They would normally deal 2 hearts of damage, but Adlure does avoid them nicely, as well as dodging the Wallmaster. Signum's taking that bow and going into the eastern area. So there's going to be another 3 items here. But they may not be necessarily good items. Just looks like some bombs and some money. So Deep Fried is going to get the... Deep Fried is going to go ahead and check Zora. Meanwhile, Slumberjack in Thieves Town. It's one of those things where, like, Thieves Town with a sword is much nicer than Thieves Town without a sword. But there are a good number of items in Thieves Town to make it likely worth it. Okay, in the C-shaped house, which I think Slumberjack and Deep Fried also checked. That was a full heart container, so that's pretty nice. Still early on. 5 hearts is still pretty rough going, even with red mail. And there's the Thieves Town Big Key, which is guaranteed in the first 4 checks, along with 4 items total throughout the dungeon. All right, and Deep Fried is going to be giving us a demonstration of the uh, switching over to the mushroom, and we are working towards fake powder. And we have fake powder. So this is a way to be able to check Magic Bat without actually having the requisite item or prerequisite item. It's not progression. I mean, a fairy in a bottle is nice, but unfortunately, it was not progression. Probably still won't turn it down though. All right, and Deep Fried making his way towards the village of Outcasts as well. Meanwhile, Signum's in Eastern Palace will be doing the loop. Uh, it's one of the easier dark rooms in the game, and it's also a moot point because we have the lamp, so we don't have to worry about rooms in the dark. Adlor, and one of the other things with Signums is at least Signums does have a sword, so those so the Stalfos will just jump out of the way during any sword swing. Slumberjack checking the maiden's chest and going to be bringing up line. And unfortunately, that was just a map in the big key chest. And with that, we do have confirmation that on one hand, we are hammerlocked in Thieves Town, which wasn't a problem. It does also mean that the small key is locked in the big chest. So that's why Slumberjack is not checking the big chest. But we'll be facing blind momentarily. Getting up to full health, which is a good idea because Slumberjack is still swordless. And of course, the best advice for Goron, be bolder. Blind does have some of the best puns and jokes and quips. And fortunately, okay, good. Slumberjack does have that Cane of Burna, which we were talking about a little bit earlier, great as an invincibility item. Well, each of those little hits will do 1 thing of damage, and blind goes down. Well done, Slumberjack. That is crystal number 2. All right, and Deep Fried, on one hand, takes a death, but I'm pretty sure that was more of a death warp, honestly. And unfortunately, or fortunately, that does use up Deep Fried's fairy right there, for better or for worse. So either way, it gets the job done, but now you're down a fairy. And Adalor, and by the way, Signums takes down Armos Knights, and Adalor works on blind. And there's the boots. Oh my goodness. Boots are on. And we don't know if boots are required yet, but the boots on Bumper Ledge, that's likely going to mean that our racers are going to absolutely, once they find a cape, take that cape and immediately go grab those boots. Just let you run around the world, gives you a good amount of yeah, it just works out really well. All right. And it seems like majority of the village of Outcasts has been pretty empty. I don't recall seeing much anything in Thief Town or in the surrounding area. So I think we are going to get the first dig game here by Adalor from Adalor's side. Signum's going back towards the village of Outcast area. Yep. Okay, so the dig game, unfortunately, was a bust, and it was very profitable for the dig game vendor. All right, and Deep Fried makes his way into Thieves Town now, having a sword advantage over the other runners, though. But Adalor is about to get the bad news about that. And our two swords so far that we've seen have been on Hobo and on Paradox Cave. So Slumberjack, yeah, because Slumberjack hasn't been up towards the mountain yet, trying to get a little bit more, probably looking for the hook shot or the mitt before going up the mountain, which is probably a good idea because then it, on one hand, it lets you tackle a lot more of the mountain in one go. On the other hand, it's looking like we may have a situation where it's a required double or even potentially triple dip of the mountain. All right, and the tablet is just 3 bombs. So both of our tablets are nothing of note. All right, and Slumberjack is going to be checking out Graveyard Ledge. If you don't have the boots or the Titan's mitts, you have to go through the graveyard kind of area right there. Does it very nicely, though. And we'll be able to check out what is in Graveyard Ledge. This is a bit of a tough location, where it's not a popular one to check relatively early. But it does get the cape, and the cape will get you the boots. So that's going to be excellent. That's going to be excellent for Slumberjack. And it means that the longer you put off Graveyard Ledge, the longer it'll be until you get those boots. Oh my goodness. All right, so our crazy finds so far have been the bow in... we had the bow in the basement of Hera. We just got the cape in Graveyard Ledge, which will lead to the boots on Bumper Ledge. So Slumberjack will be the first of our restreamed racers to have the boots, and doing a great job on using that signpost to take down the pterodactyl. And we did have, and of the 2 racers who went up to Hera, Stignums did pick up the bow, and Deep Fried did miss it, unfortunately. And Slumberjack picks up those boots. So Slumberjack will be able to go fast. And check Punk Rocks while we're right here. Yeah, picking up those boots just allows you to pick this up. It'll also get you King's Tomb access. And there's the Sanctuary Heart on Slumberjack's side. Difference between a heart container and the Sanctuary Heart is a regular heart container will give you 1 heart and add 1 heart to your 1 filled heart. It'll give you a full heart. The Sanctuary Heart will not only give you 1 extra heart, but it'll also restore all of your hearts. Deep Fried is working on Blind and also using the Cane of Burna to just take down Blind quickly. And there's the Titan's Mitts on Slumberjack's side. Wow. Wow. So that cape Graveyard Ledge is 100% required. Deep Fried does take down Blind. Adalor is in the Palace of Darkness, but without a bow. So will not be able to complete it, but will be able to complete most of it. But unless there's another bow in here, this is going to be a double dip. And we will demonstrate very soon what Adalor will be doing is a trick called the Potion Glitch, where if you drink a potion as you're walking along the wall, the game thinks that the camera remains unlocked. So the camera will continue following Link. You get the mimics out of the picture. The game thinks that the mimics are dead. So obviously, then that means that you should be able to go on because I can't see the enemies. And we do have a key, and I think this arena ledge will also be a key. It is indeed. And now Slumberjack is going up the mountain. We'll be able to pick up the fire rod and hopefully the bow as well. All right. And Slumberjack is indeed going to be going into Hera and checking there. All right, and Adalor is at 3 keys, which will mean that we will be checking the Harmless Hellway. There, with key logic in the Palace of Darkness, there are a couple places where it'll be a required key for a key. And Adalor, warping back to the beginning. Okay, we'll be using a key here. Okay, we'll be checking. Still has a couple checks in the center here. Okay, I see. So a question in chat. There's in terms of a lead, like I think there are a couple folks with advantages. Slumberjack definitely has the item and speed advantage. However, Signums has, like with the bow is going to be incredibly important. So definitely a couple folks with advantages. We're going to still need the Ice Rod. We are likely going to be needing those boots. We're going to be needing the flippers. Slumberjack does have a disadvantage, though, of not having a sword yet. And yeah, that bow location is very rough. Signums does take down Blind for crystal number 3. All right, I'm guessing that was the last item in pod, so that's why Adalor skedaddled. And there's the key on Slumberjack's side, so we'll see what Slumberjack does. That is crystal number 3, however. Most of our runners are on the 3rd crystal total, so it's been it's going to be a seed where it can go quickly, or it can turn into a slug, and Slumberjack is skipping out on Hera Basement. That is not going to feel good. Now, there's still a chance that because there is still another bow somewhere. It's just we don't know where it is at this point. And it could be Slumberjack will open up this portal. Can go open this portal, check some of the other places. There should only be 3 checks here that are required, and we're going to need the Quake Medallion, by the way, in order to open up Turtle Rock. All right. All right, and Slumberjack is going to be entering Dark Death Mountain. Without the hook shot, there's going to be some couple checks that are not going to be available quite yet. Signums does get that Cane of Samaria. That Cane of Samaria does make Hype Cave pretty hype. Definitely helps. Also, Slumberjack will be getting his first sword. But yeah, this is tough because Signums has the bow, that's a pretty sizable advantage in total, just in the sense of not having to redo like Pod or Eastern. But we're gonna see if we can find where that second bow is. And yeah, it looks like with this routing, Slumberjack could go up to Super Bunny Cave, check the first check of Hookshot. The only concern will be, will Slumberjack go back into Hera? And Defry does take down Landmolus and gets crystal number 3. Adalor is making our first check of the Pyramid Ledge as well. And there's Quake, by the way, in Super Bunny Cave. I missed what the first one was, but that second one, that was definitely Quake. So the entrance requirement for Turtle Rock was just outside the door. And Slumberjack is going to go ahead and pick up that first item in Hookshot Cave, which could be the hookshot. This is in logic for the hookshot. It's not a hookshot though. Signums, after picking up those flippers, looks like we'll be checking what the tablet situation is over here, and then potentially going into Swamp Palace. And Slumberjack, it looks like, will be going into Turtle Rock. All right. It looks like Signums will instead be going and checking Agina's Cave, which isn't really anything. Adalor checking out what is on Catfish. And it's the Ether Medallion, which... probably not needed. The only thing that it could help with would be Misery Mire, or for making some checks in or some rooms in the gauntlet up in Gana's Tower a little bit easier. Slumberjack, though, does go the correct way, though, to be able to do this fire torch room. If you do not have the hook shot, you cannot go up and make it through the loop without the torches going out. You do have to go from the bottom the way that the game intends. But Slumberjack does do that properly. And we'll go ahead and swag dash with that and pick up a key and the big key. So yeah, Pyramid, not sure. Didn't look like it was anything, though, just based on where Adalor came from to pick that up. All right, and Deep Fry getting the confirmation that we are bow locked. All right, and Adalor will be going up towards Tower Hera. And again, if you are just joining us, we've got a problem where the Hera basement has the bow. Probably another really bad bow location might be on Vitreous or in Misery Mire in general. Cutscene chest in Misery Mire, Vitreous, because if they are on Vidi, then it's implied that you don't get to use the silvers for the Vitreous fight. So Misery Mire is probably one of the less good locations in general. Or yeah, the silvers can be anywhere in the world. They are not technically required to finish the game in this kind of seed. If we were doing swordless, they would absolutely be 100% required. All right, but Slumberjack going through. Continuing through. Bow on Laser Bridge would bail out Slumberjack. And Slumberjack is also going to be able to check Mimic Cave just as another additional check. Yeah, we are still on the hunt for the Ice Rod. We are still a good number of items from Go Mode at this point. The boots we know are going to be required. And it looked like that was that a sword in Mimic Cave? Oh my goodness, that so that's our third sword that we know about between. Yep. So that's the third sword in the game that we found. There is just one more out there. With the storage being in Paradox Cave, Hobo, and Mimic Cave. That's two in the mountain. That's fun. All right, and we will be doing Laser Bridge with that green rupee in the chest right there. And Signum takes down Land Molus for crystal number 4. And Adalor takes down Hera. It's about to get the bad news about Hera Basement. And will Adalor go into Hera Basement for the one item, which may be 100% required to do. All right, let's see what is on Laser Bridge. We have 50 rupees. the key is going to be here. Heart container. And Adalor is getting that item. And Laser Bridge does not have the Ice Rod or a bow. Slumberjack will have to bail from here. Adalor, though, will be picking up that bow. That is big. And we will still be on the hunt for that. We're still going to be on the hunt for the Ice Rod. Signums does get that sword. Now, Slumberjack is reclimbing the mountain, so this could either be Hera or it could be Spike Cave. We'll see which way Slumberjack opts to go. All right, and Adalor gets the good news about that bow. And Slumberjack, unfortunately, again, opting to not go with the... and actually, this is going to be kind of... never mind with the Cannaburna. Cannaburna is wonderful for this kind of thing. And there's Bombos. So that's all the medallions that we know about. Adalor getting Ether. But unfortunately, Slumberjack will have to climb the mountain likely again, unless there's another sword out there. All right. And it's also kind of interesting just that with all the routing our players have made, there have been a lot of viable paths. Like to the point where, Slumberjack, this is Slumberjack's first foray into Mini Moldorm Cave, and we're 47 minutes into the seed. Always makes things kind of interesting. Second bow could be on pedestal. Pedestal at this point could not be... Let's see, what can't it be? It could be that. It could be... Let's see, it could be Hookshot. Yeah, it could be the Hookshot. And of course, Ice Rod. It could be Ice Rod as well. All right, and Slumberjack gets Tempered Sword, gets the keeps on getting that sword advantage right there. As Signums will be able to complete Pod, will be the only racer to be able to complete Pod, although Adalor is also going towards Pod, which will be, yeah, with that bow, we'll be able to do the, be able to save a potion. Slumberjack opting for Ice Palace, which, that's not a bad, it's not a bad call. Technically could be hookshot locked, but with the tricks that we have in our arsenal, namely Icebreaker, that shouldn't be a detriment to our racers being able to take down Ice Palace. So one of the other things, and it's tough because on one hand, Slumberjack does have the bow disadvantage, and so far will have to reclimb the mountain again for the Hera basement. Deep Fried, I think, is actually giving us our first look at Escape, though, or the front of Escape. So that's kind of interesting. That could be another. Another interesting location. All right, and Adalor opting for Eastern first. Signum's opting for Pod first. So. And Slumberjack pulls off the icebreaker trick where you can use that Cane of Samaria to literally walk through a wall and save not only a lot of health, but a decent amount of time as well through Ice Palace. Let's say our runners will be required to get the boots and do Graveyard Ledge. So Slumberjack does have an advantage there. But the bow is 100% required for this seed. So it's hard to say who has the lead and more who has an advantage right now. And no one's in go mode, so we're still a ways away from that, I think. I agree. I don't think that we are hookshot locked. Adalor takes down, and it is just a heart container in Zelda's cell. That does imply, though, that there is an item in Dark Cross, which Deep Fried is going to be checking. Armor Knights just had 10 arrows right there, so. All right, and Slumberjack is going to be giving us our first look into Cold Stare. Bombos is a nice, quick way to open up the Cold Stare ice shell. And Dark Cross was just a piece of heart, unfortunately. That's always a fun location for progression as well, to have that. So, all right, we have one of the Cold Stare puffs down. And 2 down. Even though you've got red armor, the Cold Stare puffs hit pretty hard. But down goes Cold Stare. Well done. That is just the key. And that is crystal number 4 for Slumberjack. I do like this play from, and I still do like this play from Adalor. On one hand, Pod is not technically required, or it might be, and there is an adage for Pod being always having progression, and the Mushroom Turn-In is just a piece of heart. So I think Slumberjack now will be going towards. Actually, was that the 5-6 crystal? Or is that all the 5-6 crystals done? All right. Oh, and Adalor doesn't have the big key. Oh, no. All right, so Adalor unfortunately has to redo that whole sequence again. Swamp and Hera are the 5-6 crystals. That may be the case. It's all right, and Adalor is running through to get that big key. Yeah, that hurts. But we'll be attempting a hammer yump here. So this is another trick that you usually see more in Key Sanity or similar modes, where you can bomb jump yourself and clip yourself into the into the area with the big chest, even though there's a barrier right there. All right, and Signums is giving us our first look at King Helmasaur. Just takes 17 hammer swings to take down the that armor. And then just spam the bow a bunch. I think it's, what, 8 shots? And down goes King Helmasaur. Well done. Waterfall Fairy has a B, by the way. All right, and Deep Fried, it looks like, will be maybe giving us our first look into Swamp, which that would be a decent place to look for items. It is 6 items, so that's a nice location. All right, and let's see what the green pendant turn-in is for Unsignum's side. And there's the mushroom for slumber, and it is just 50 rupees. Get a green pendant, get a green money pack. And Slumberjack opting to run from Zora back out, which does make sense. Without the flute, it is a little bit quicker, I think, to just walk back to turn in that mushroom, which unfortunately will just be a piece of heart. But let's see on Deep Fried's side. Oh, and apparently there was flute. That was the first check in Swamp. So that's going to be a travel advantage for Deep Fried, and may also lead Deep Fried towards the mire area and those checks. And especially just from a being able to get around perspective. With the flute, you're not going to need to save and quit nearly as often as otherwise. And yep, still need to get those mitts in King's Tomb with the boots in, because yeah, we do have a kind of nasty chain of progression. We're also still missing the hook shot, so Deep Fried will be able to do left side swamp, but that will be it unless there's something over here. That's why Deep Fried is tackling Swamp Palace here the vanilla way. Lumberjack checking escape. Adalor checking the back of escape for the first time, and it's always interesting when you're in a seed like this and you're checking escape at the 57-minute mark when you're near the hour. But yeah, where is this hook shot? We're still in the hunt for the hook shot and the ice rod. Once we get those, we are in no mode, where we, the viewers and the commentators and the trackers, we know where everything is. Our runners may not quite yet. And please also, please follow our runners as well, Adalor, Deep Fry, Signums, and Slumberjack, as they put on a fantastic show for us today. All right, so I guess the left side of left side swamp was not the hook shot. So let's see what we have over here. It is just money. So it looks like the big key, though, is on the left. So that's why Deep Fried is... okay, so we haven't seen the that one. We have not yet checked the pedestal. So pedestal could still be the ice rod, and it could be hook shot. And there's the big key for swamp. So, you know, if there's a time for a vanilla hook shot, this is where Deep Fried is hoping for it. I believe there was at least one item. I can't remember offhand if both items were in the front of Skullwoods, though. And it is just a map, unfortunately, so that will end Deep Fried's foray into Swamp Palace. Okay, so then both items. So the blue boomerang, and then the there was a shield as well. So that is both items out of Skullwoods then. Deep Fried is going to be turning in that flute after checking the dig game right here. Slumberjack is going to be checking out what is on Smith Chain, and it's still the only racer with the Titan's mitts. At this point, I know our runners are going to be running pretty low on locations, so for Deep Fried, maybe now Hera basement is looming pretty large, which it would anyway, just because of it turned out that's where the bow is, or our first bow. And Deep Fried is going to go turn in that flute right there. And Slumberjack is giving us the first look into Smith Chain, where for just 10 rupees, you know, in gratitude for saving him, the blacksmith does give us 20. So we are an investor. Opting to save and quit right there. So, because yeah, without the hook shot and not being able to use boots, it does make things difficult. And Deep Fried just remembers, still need those Titan's mitts. And Deep Fried, it looks like, will be checking out Hera Basement, which it won't be the Titan's mitts, but it will be a bow. Adalor might be checking. Let's see which direction. Okay, so Adalor will not be checking pedestal yet, but a ped seed is still possible for us. It just won't be on the Smith Chain because both the blacksmith and the purple chest were both 20 rupees. Oh, so Adalor might be. Let's see where. Adalor could be checking Skullwoods and then mirroring from there to check pedestal. That is a possibility as well. And Deep Fried, unfortunately, is checking Spike Cave, which unfortunately is not going to be the location for progression. Signums, however, is going to be picking up that flute momentarily. And Adalor, it looks like, will be continuing to Mothula. And if you're already thinking of like potentially we do need to, Adalor is didn't check the front of Skullwoods yet, and that's where the items were. Both items were in the front of Skullwoods, so this is going to come up empty. All right, and Deep Fried does go back down, and will indeed. Looks like we'll be going back into Hera. That is going to be a call for progression, right there. It's not and it's not going to feel good getting that bow because we're an hour 4 minutes in, and it's probably been about half an hour since Deep Fried was last in Hera. All right, and Adalor is on the Mothula fight, where Mothula itself is not too dangerous, but it's the room. It's the shifting room. It's the spikes, and you're already down to 2 hearts. Gotta be cautious, because those blocks, even though you've got red armor, each one of those blocks will deal 1 full heart of damage. Deep Fried will be picking up that bow though. And Moth goes down in great timing. That is going to be needed timing. And there is the Pendant of Wisdom, because in A Link to the Past, the Pendant of Power is actually the blue one, and the Pendant of Wisdom is the red one. This is the only game where that is the case. For Ocarina of Time onward, Power became red, and Power became red, Wisdom became blue. And let's see what we have on pedestal at the 1 hour, 5 minute mark and 43 second mark. We have a bow. So that's where silvers are. Oh my goodness. So yeah, Slumberjack. That's a bow-locked bow right there. Yeah, absolutely, because Pod is one of the required pendants to be able to pick that up. So Slumberjack needs to go back to Hera and get that basement. So let's see. So we know that Pedestal is effectively dead. But the mitts, but unfortunately, Slumberjack is still the only runner that has mitts. The other runners so far are doing their best to avoid Graveyard Ledge, which unfortunately is going to lead to the cape, which will lead to the boots, which will lead to the Titan's mitts. If Slumberjack's ped before Hera Basement, that could be a rough implication. That's true, but we are bow lock. It is a bow locked bow. A bow is 100% required to beat Pod, so that does mean that one would be not in logic. There is still one other bow in logic for Slumberjack. It's just unfortunately Slumberjack will not be able to. Will have to double dip Eastern as well. Deep Fried is working on Eastern Palace, by the way. We'll be picking up crystal number 4 here in just a minute. All right. And the quick kill doesn't look like will happen for Deep Fried, but still gets an arrow refill there anyway, along with crystal number 4. All of our runners, by the way, are either on 3 or 4 crystals. Adalor on 3 crystals, everyone else on 4. And now Slumberjack is heading up towards Hera. So this will give Slumberjack the item advantage back again. And unfortunately, it is going to hurt just because you had just done as much of Eastern as you could, and the item that you needed for it was here all along. which does still leave us with... And this is making me think more and more that Hookshot is in Misery Mire. Actually, it could be both Ice Rod and Hookshot. That would be a heck of a Misery Mire right there. Slumberjack, though, would have to go get the flute out of Swamp Palace before being able to check that. So it's still a it's still a bit of a not a great spot for that. This seed is definitely proving itself to be a fun one as a viewer. So Jack Dip, Turtle Rock, Eastern, and Pod before getting that bow. That's not going to feel good, unfortunately. Deep Fried is going to get the news about the silvers being right here. You can, in the randomizer, you can see what is, you can actually look up kind of what all of those messages mean. Choosing the Archer class, it does imply a progressive bow. And Slumberjack, let's see. Slumberjack will be going towards Pod and taking down Pod and Eastern, likely back to back. Deep Fried checking the map again, just as a like, are we sure this is what we want to do? Yeah, and this is kind of a this is tough, unfortunately, because as a runner, like having to do Graveyard Ledge is very much an isolated check at this point. Unfortunately, it leads to everything else that we need. And Signums gets the news about the progressive bow there. So that will probably also... Well, okay, and Signums will continue to go into Swamp Palace. Or Skull Woods, which is interesting because Signum's already got both items out of Skull Woods. All right, and Adlor turns in that flute. Oh, okay. So if oh, okay. So if Moth has second item, then that would make a little bit more sense for here. Unfortunately, it's still going to be the case where, and Signum's opting to light the torches to save as much magic there as possible. And Adlor is going to be checking Ice Rod Cave. Ooh, and gets pulled a little bit by the crabs, which, fortunately, crabs with red mail aren't nearly as bad as if you still had green mail. And there is the fourth heart piece for Adlor, so that's a nice refill. And Deep Fried and Signums both on the Mothula fight. And Mothula goes down on Signums' side. And Slumberjack goes into Pod. Okay. No worries. I mean, and either way, Skull Woods is not the answer. It's not going to be the answer. But hey, I mean, I guess with Mire, though, with Mire being the other pendant, it can't have the Titan's Mitts. It could still have the other important things, though, is the issue. And let's see where Signums and Deep Fried go from here. Adalor, it looks like might be heading towards... Okay, so Adalor looks like is heading towards Graveyard Ledge at this point. Yes. Yep, Adalor is going towards Graveyard Ledge, which is going to be the answer. That's going to set off the chain, which opens everything up. Signums is getting an item back. And Signums is also heading towards Graveyard Ledge. And Deep Fried is heading towards Graveyard Ledge. Unfortunately, I think this is the last location for our runners, but it is still an item location. Signum's getting the news about the boots. Watch out for that pterodactyl. And Deep Fried is going to get that cape. Yeah, it's also tough just because you have to go through this maze-like area to get to Graveyard Ledge as well. But after this, you're going to get the boots. With the boots, you're going to be able to check everything else you need. Adalor did not pick up the boots, though. So it looks like we'll be going back and checking what's on... So actually, that's going to be a slight time loss right there. I guess not knowing what was on... Graveyard Ledge or on Bumper Ledge. But Deep Fried will be getting that second out of our restreamed racers. Adalor is showing, I think, a little bit of frustration just with the menuing there, and now sees the boots. Yeah, that's not a fun spot right there. But we are about to get a triple pickup of the boots. So the question is, you get these boots. When do you go to King's Tomb? That's going to be the next question. And Deep Fried is taking those boots and going, to check what's on Lumberjack Ledge. Okay. All right, and I think Signums is taking a look. Oh, no. And Signums is fluting away. So Signums got the boots, but will not be getting the Titan's Mitts. Adalor is checking. Adalor right now looks like might be on the way to get those Titan's Mitts, which, as a reminder, are in King's Tomb. But is warping away again. Okay, right, because you without the Titan's Mitts, you need to come into here from the Dark World. So Adalor will be getting the Titan's Mitts momentarily. And Signums is up in... Oh, no. And there's the Titan's Mitts for Adalor. So at this point, this will give a considerable... This has been a considerable advantage for Slumberjack, though. Even not having the bow for most of this time, now there are a lot of Titan's Mitts checks available to Adalor, to Deep Fried, that Slumberjack has checked most of at this point. But it really is looking like Mire is going to be our answer, or the Mire area. And yeah, because Slumberjack still needs the flute from Swamp. Deep Fried is going to be the first into the mire area. So the question will be, will it be in the shed or will it be inside mire itself? And oh no, we need Bombos. Oh, we need Bombos to get into mire. So this, oh, there's the hook shot. Okay, we've got a hook shot. So that's going to be a lot more of, so checkerboard is going to be open. Checkerboard was already open. But that's going to be the rest of Dark Death Mountain, the rest of Hookshot Cave available as well. So yeah, we're, because Slumberjack did pick up Bombos. Can't remember where from offhand. And it might have been from Ice Palace. Just a piece of heart up in Checkerboard Cave. But that hookshot is going to give Deep Fried considerable advantage. The only question is, where is the Ice Rod? The Ice Rod is our last remaining item. It can be anywhere in the world except for on Trinex and in Ganon's Tower. So that's why you have a lot of racers right now in Ice Palace. Because now it's logically doable 100%. We would have been able to do it anyway, just with Icebreaker. Signums picks up the, gives a frustration swipe right there for King's Tomb being the Titan's Mitts. Spike Cave was not, I don't believe that Bombos was Spike Cave, but we will double check. Oh, and Adalor is getting that. Gets the news about that, but we'll be picking up the hook shot momentarily. Okay, so Signums has Bombos, so that will do it. And there's a heart piece and there, or heart container, and there is hookshot for Signums. So yeah, we will need to go into Swamp Palace, and Swamp Palace is now fully clearable as well. Swamp Palace could have the Ice Rod as well, because we weren't able to get into the back before. And there's the Pendant of Wisdom for Slumberjack. I'd say this has been a really interesting seed. We are still not in go mode at the 1 hour 22 minute mark, because we are still on the hunt for that Ice Rod. Once we get the Ice Rod, we will be in go mode, and because we will be able to finish the seed in its entirety. Adalor needs to be. I hope Adalor has a way to restore magic, because. Okay, good. All right, and Slumberjack will get the news about that's where the other bow is. Signums is going back into Swamp Palace, so we'll be the first to check the back of Swamp Palace. Adalor still on the Master Sword, and Slumberjack. Oh, that's right, because Slumberjack's the only one to be up in the Turtle Rock area. Third Sword is in Mimic Cave. Yeah, this was such a branching seed. Like even given Slumberjack's advantage for just in time for having boots, definitely had boots for probably 15-20 minutes at least before any of the other racers, just because the other racers did last locate. However, between the flute, like there are just so many items here. Signums is the first into Swamp and will be the first to check the back and finish this dungeon as well. This is a required crystal dungeon. Slumberjack is going to pick up the flute momentarily, though. And Adalor will go ahead and pick up that hook shot as well. Signum's preparing for a diver down, where you can use a bomb drop, you can use the Canis Samaria to effectively, and won't get it in that try, but there is a way to be able to force yourself into the railing. When you do that, doesn't quite get it there. That's all right. And yeah, Slumber did already clear Turtle Rock except for Trinex. Because Trinex requires the Ice Rod to beat, so still waiting on that. Still having a little bit of trouble getting that set up. So Adalor will be joining in Swamp Palace momentarily as well. And Signum's opting to go ahead and just do this area the way that the game intends. There are a couple ways. You can either do Diver Down using bombs or using the Cane of Samaria to clip yourself into the block. That is one of the nice things, about this almost 30-year-old game. There are, and in a 30-year-old game where we are a ways in, Slumberjack is going to pick up that hook shot and be able to go into Swamp Palace and finish that out as well. And we get money, we get Compass. So a little bit anticlimactic, but we have 2 more checks to make in Swamp Palace. All right, and there's a heart container. So I am not sure if we've already gotten both the compass and the map. Do we still have an item in Swamp Palace? It's going to be the question. Because it also does look like that Bombos medallion to get into Mire is looking more and more likely. And Adalor is demonstrating the Canis Samaria diver down trick and nails it. So you'll see that Adalor is just walking on water. Signums is working on the Argus fight with the Master Sword. It does take 2 sword slashes to take down each of those puffs. And, ooh, that's a good point. Swamp Palace is a 5/6 crystal, so that's going to be another 2 checks available once this goes down. So that's a good point as well. And we have all of our runners, by the way, all of our runners are either in Swamp or about to finish Swamp or trying to enter Swamp. So it is this is still a very close race. This is, for everyone's particular route, it's still very close. All right, and that is crystal number 6 for Signums. And all we're looking for is the Turtle Rock Ice Rod. So if Signums goes into Turtle Rock immediately, that's going to be a bit of an issue because that's not where... Uh-oh. Because Turtle Rock is not where the Ice Rod is. And that is correct. Signums has not picked up the Ice Rod yet at this point. But we'll be checking out Cold Stare first. All right. And Adalor working on Argus, Deep Fried, going towards the back. Slumberjack still does need to clear out Swamp Palace, being Slumberjack's first foray in. All right, and we'll see from here, which way does Adalor go? Adalor is going to check out what is on Waterfall, Pyramid Fairy. Sorry, what is on Pyramid Fairy? That's going to be new checks for us as viewers and commentators and everyone alike. So let's see what we'll have here. We'll see in the next 30 seconds if we are doing Mire or if we are in go mode. Well, and actually for Adalor, unfortunately, it'll have to be go up to Spike Cave, then come back down. And as a neat trick, normally with the bomb, if you're running, you cannot Hookshot Cave. And you're right, Hookshot Cave could also have the ice rod. And actually, that is that would certainly be at this point there aren't too many locations. Adalor is probably in the best spot right now to check for that. But also does have Desert Palace to work on. Looking real quick. All right, so we have pretty much simultaneous Argus completions, by the way, on Deep Pride and Summerjack's sides. Adalor is climbing the mountain, but it looks like Waterfall Cave, Pyramid Fairy is not where Ice Rod was. So now we're looking at now probably going to be checking Hookshot Cave or Turtle Rock. So, got a question from Left Side Swamp. It is not on Left Side Swamp. We have had everyone check Left Side Swamp so far. Deep Fried is going to be checking what is in Waterfall. And Adalor will be getting the Quake Medallion here momentarily. All right, and Slumberjack is doing is prepping for Diver Down again. And let's see, do we have Ice Rod? We have the Shovel. Shovel was in the bunkable chest. Shovel spot is actually still open because I don't remember seeing Slumberjack checking it earlier. So that is a possibility. Okay, and we're getting confirmation from Terry that it is not, in fact, the dig spot. And it looks like it's not in Hookshot Cave. Adalor is now going to go ahead and get that Bombos medallion, though. This is also going to be an interesting because if depending on where it is, like if whoever checks Turtle Rock without having the Ice Rod, they'll have to go back into Turtle Rock, but they will get that third sword likely because of Mimic Cave. So this could be intriguing. Slumberjack looks like is heading towards that Mire area and will be the first to check Mire. That is likely going to be that is, I think, one of the remaining spots that we have in the world just overall. And this is where the advantage of Titan's Mitts and Boots, because this is going to be a last location for everyone. Just because Slumberjack was able to check all the last location items first, This is going to be an advantage for Slumberjack. Because... All right. So a question, if Vitreous has Ice Rod, would you pull Ped for Silvers? Oh, that's a tough question. I mean, if you were still on the Master Sword, I'd consider it, personally. With Tempered Sword, I probably wouldn't. Oh, and Deep Fried does get hit by... just get hit before checking that last chest, and we are not in a Godmire situation with that map there. But Adalor is also in Misery Mire, right behind Slumberjack, so we still have a potential for a race here. And it looks like Deep Fried will be going into Turtle Rock. Unfortunately, that's not going to be where the Ice Rod is. And, okay, so that is sort of a Godmire big key spot. So it could be Cutscene Chest. Yeah, it's still going to be a bit of a... Still going to be a bit of a hunt for these two items in Misery Mire. All right, so we're down to, I think, 4 more checks in Misery Mire. And there are only 2 items as well, so... And thank goodness for that full magic decanter right there. And for our viewers who are just tuning in, we've had a pretty rough seed. It started out very nicely, having very quick Dark World access, but we are now mired in an Ice Rod hunt, pun intended. Deep Fried will be able to do that section right there. Does miss a Fire Rod shot though, so Cutscene Chest is item number 1. And does need to hookshot quickly and gets it off, so that will prevent the door from closing. So there are 3 more checks to be made in Misery Mire. So the question is just going to be, which one will have the Ice Rod? Slumberjack looks to have a slight advantage here. All right, so it's either going to be Big Chest or Vitreous. This point is a 50-50. Which one will have the Ice Rod? We have Vitreous will have the Ice Rod. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is... this is a full clear game. So if Ice Rod is not in Mire, let's see, where else would be in Logic? I don't think there's anywhere else in Logic. Because Powder... we already did check the Powder spot and on the Magic Bat, and that was not it. Pet is Silvers, yeah. It's we're in a, you know, we're in a fun situation here as viewers. But Slumberjack and Adalor are definitely in the lead. Slumberjack will have the advantage, though, of having already cleared Turtle Rock. Oh, there we go. Slumber getting the spooky glitch, by the way, to be able to sneak by. And here comes the Vitreous fight on Slumberjack's side. Use the cape. run through all the eyeballs. Try not to get hit by the eyeballs because they will do a lot of damage, oddly enough, for eyeballs. Oh, and Slumberjack is low on magic and does get all the eyes out before running out of magic entirely. So there is Vitreous down, and there is the Ice Rod. So 1 hour, 39 minutes, 48 seconds. Slumberjack is in go mode. Ooh, and Adalore's in a little bit of a pickle here because without having that tempered sword, that sword advantage for Slumberjack is going to be huge. And okay, Adalore will. Oh, this is going to be close. Okay, Adalore will be able to finish the Vitreous fight. And Adalore will be the next runner to be in go mode. But that is a good question. Will Adalore go and get those silvers? As I believe Adalore did check pedestal. You know it's silvers. Now we know where the third sword is. It's in Mimic Cave. But Adalore is not likely to check Mimic Cave. Yeah, so right now this is Slumberjack's race to lose at this point. And unfortunately, Signums will have to abandon Turtle Rock, and Deep Fried will have to abandon Turtle Rock. This has been a seed. This has been a seed where I don't believe. Well, let's see. Did we have to absolutely double dip everything, or did we have to go into every single pendant dungeon? All right, and pretty much one of our last remaining nice items to find would be half magic. Deep Fried does get the bad news there that the Ice Rod is in another castle, or another mire, as it were, and it's going to be kind of miserable to get there. And Slumberjack already checked this area. Yep, Slumberjack doubling back after realizing that already got lava chest, already got all the items from there. All right, and okay, so the dig spot was the swag net. So that's not the answer. So Deep Fried will likely now be going towards Mire. Oh, nope. Going towards Pod. Oh, because Deep Fried has not finished Pod yet, so that's also in the cards. And there is the net for Signums. So let's see where now Signums is likely now going to be funneled into the Mire area, having already completed Pod and everything else there. But let's see where Signums will be going from here. Oh, Signums is checking the Pyramid Fairy. Pyramid Fairy is not going to be progression, unfortunately. Slumberjack is on the Trinex fight, though. Takes down heads 1 and 2 very quickly before the Ice Head has a chance to fire off a Ice Rod shot or cover the ground with ice. And down goes Trinex. So with that, Slumberjack picks up crystal number 7 And we are going to be ready to play a game. Where is the Ganon's Tower Big Key? Put in a number between 1 and 22 to win the admiration of friends, foes, and perfect strangers alike. And the ice rod was on Vitreous and Pendant Meyer. As for me, I'm going to be guessing. I'm going to be guessing 4 myself. And Slumberjack is the first into Ganon's Tower. Checking Hope Room first. If there's a key in here, you might continue on to... All right, so there's a small key there. So, and the Mirror Shield. So at least that's a couple more blasts able to be blocked. And we'll be able to continue on to the Compass Room. So I'm going to go ahead and run through here. Just get through the doorway and through. So as a reminder, we are currently at 2. 3. 4. Well, there's my guess gone. 5. And 6. So we are either in left side or tile room. Adalor's going to be getting the... Well, actually, Adalor does have the ice rod, so we'll have... we'll be able to take down Trinex. All right, number 7 is going to be 50 rupees. So Bob, the glitched fairy, will get to live. And yeah, so Signums is now checking... all of those Titansmith's checks. 7, so 8, 9, 10 for the Butter Sword, and 11. So actually, that's not bad for the rest of the runners because Tempered Sword and Butter Sword are both okay, are both pretty good against Ganon. The Master Sword requires a bunch of sword swings. All right, and 12 is just a burrito right there. Deep Fried picks up that green pendant. Using that hook shot, Slumberjack does to... Oh, and also remember to get magic there. And also, that sword advantage for Slumberjack in the Trinex fight is going to be considerable. And there's the big key. It is lucky number 13. All right, so congratulations to It's Oasis, Mystic Dummy, Frau Mausenberger, and Yarn Dragon Tracy. As they were the folks to correctly deduce that the Ganon's Tower Big Key was going to be in spot number 13. All right, and Adalor does take down Trinex. Well done. Master Sword and not having half magic is a tough fight right there. Does get that done very nicely. Signums did pick up the Tempered Sword, by the way, when going into Turtle Rock. Deep Fried is going into... All right, and Adalor is going to be fluting, it looks like, to Desert Palace. Does realize that still have Desert Palace to go. Deep Fried descending into Mire, as is Signums. As Slumberjack is beginning the gauntlet. As we approach the 1 hour 50-minute mark, this has been a seed, and yeah, we will not be seeing silvers. It looks like from most of our runners. So now the good news is we are going to be having Tempered Sword unless our runners skip the Stalfos room in Ganon's Tower, which would certainly be a strategy. Signum's getting the bad news about it's going to be getting the bad news that cutscene chest is not going to be it. It's going to be on Vitreous. Slumberjack using that Butter Sword to great effect, though, taking down Landmolus. So grab that, get the Cane of Samaria ready to go. To take down the Satisfying Wizrobe room number 1. Oh, and does get knocked down by... does get knocked down. All right, and Satisfying Wizrobe room number 2. And Adalor almost gets it there. All right. But he did get up again. No way, gonna keep him down. All right. And Slumberjack does make it up before the chime. If you happen to be climbing up the mountain... Oh! Oh, no! All right, so Slumberjack opting instead of using... trying to reach that last torch with the lantern, opts to just go ahead and take a fall, get that magic decanter. And we are joined by Speed Gaming Portuguese. Welcome in, all y'all. We are working on the conclusion of this daily race, where we have had a heck of a seed. We have Ice Rod on Pendant Vitreous. We had Graveyard Ledge having our cape. Oh, and Slumberjack does get bullied a little bit by Moldorm right there. Yeah, a lot of the items were pretty early on in Kakariko, but whenever it definitely feels like whenever it's a good opening like that, it's going to be a rough ending, and Meyer definitely ended up being the call, as well as Graveyard Ledge with the cape to get to Bumper Ledge, which had the boots to get to King's Tomb, which had the Titan's Mitts. So Adalor is on the way to Ganon's Tower as Slumberjack is approaching Aga 2. And let's see how well the Agonometry is today. That is either 2 or 3 hits, depends on how simultaneous that was. Oh, nice hit. And that's like 2, 2... either 3200 or 320. All right, so it was 2202. But well done by Slumberjack. That is going to be the revelation. Spoilers, that Aghanim was secretly Ganon this entire time. All right, and Adalor opts to go for the right side as well. And Slumberjack is about to... let's see if Slumberjack will opt to get the fairy from just down below. No, we'll go ahead and drop down into the Ganon fight. The Enrichment Center would like to remind you that the companion duck cannot betray you and, in fact, cannot speak. Attempting to get the one cycle on Ganon. There is phase 1 down for Ganon. Just get out of the way there. We don't need no fairies. And that is already going to be phase 2 for Ganon. So there is phase 3. As the wall falls away. Signums does pick up that Ice Rod, by the way. And at this point, just as long as Slumberjack does not take a Ganon hug or fall down, it's all going to be good. Does spam the torch for the torch glitch, which ensures that the right torch will never go out. And yeah, Silver's in the light world, and we know exactly where they are. They are on pedestal. All right, so it's just 12 spins to win for Slumberjack. All right, and there is Tempered Sword for Adalor. Sticknums is going to be getting Butter Sword. But yeah, it is a world of difference being able to potentially get triples. Triples basically being that you get 3 sword spins on Ganon per charge, let's say. And Sticknums is indeed pulling the pedestal, but get your GGs in chat as Slumberjack has defeated Ganon and is getting ready to cross the most dangerous bridge in Hyrule. Get your GGs in chat. And Slumberjack officially finishes with an official time of 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 46 seconds for first place on Restream and 12th place overall. GG. All right. Meanwhile, Adalor is working on... Okay, and Adalor does get that big key as well. And we are joined in with Slumberjack. GG, Slumberjack.
Oh, GG's. Oof.
that bow location. Well, really, a lot of those locations.
Yeah, the bow was a big one, and the mitts. Like, I thought I had a really good start with the mitts and the boots, like finding those like back to back. But then that bow just put me so far back that I was starting to make gambles that did not pay off.
Yeah, well, and on Restream, you had the boots for probably a good 20-25 minutes before everyone else. So, and I think everyone pretty much full cleared the game at this point.
Yeah, I would imagine so, given where Ice Rod was. I felt at least okay about that, because like when I did the Turtle Rock dip like relatively early, I was like, there's no way no one else is doing this dip like this early, given where like boots and mitts were. And then not finding anything in Turtle Rock, I was like, okay, that's bad. But to find Ice Rod where it was probably means that everybody dipped Turtle Rock at least once.
So I think we had one other person actually do Misery Mire before Turtle Rock.
Okay.
However, because of that, you had a considerable sword advantage throughout the majority of the seed as well, because you got Mimic Cave.
Right. What was in Mimic Cave? I don't even remember.
That was your third sword.
Oh, that was my third sword. That's right.
Yeah. So, and most of the other runners do have tempered at least at this point, but
yeah, I mean, was it a considerable advantage considering I went the first 40 minutes in 3 dungeons with no sword?
Fair enough. Although, hey, I mean, you know, were you doing that champs swordless a bunch? Because you definitely did a good amount through.
No, not at all. I just sometimes get swordless in mystery races, so I'm kind of used to it and having to like adjust for that. Like last week, I had the terror seed of like inverted swordless cross keys Randomizer. Like I had that seed last week, so I'd certainly get my practice in on swordless here and there.
Oh God.
Yeah. This wasn't nearly as bad. Like this was a fun seed overall. Very enjoyable seed.
Yeah, and it also at least, you know, at least there was that chain of I mean, and granted, Graveyard Ledge is never a fun check to make, but going from there immediately, like just a little bit west to get the boots, which is already a great item, and then to be able to go to King's Tomb, like at least everything was up there. It's just you didn't know that everything was required up there until like, oh, this is leading to right here. This is leading to right here. We're good.
Yeah, I imagine that must have been fun for you folks to watch, like me, like see where the boots were. I don't know if you saw me see the boots because I saw like only like a couple pixels of it, and I knew it was the boots. And then to get the cape on the very next check, I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be fun for the restream.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. And then, but yeah, then it looked like you, because you after Skull Woods and you checked Ped, and it's like, that bow. And you were not, although you were not the only one to skip Hera Basement either.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Like it's a super common skip. It's speed running. You're going to make gambles like that, and like I had skipped it when I had not even done like mini Moldorm yet. So like it was a very, very obvious like skip mentally for me when I had so much left in the game still to do. Like I was still like just clearing what dungeons I had available to me, and then I was like, you know, I'll get the mini Moldorm eventually. Something's going to be down there, and then just to get completely ripped off from that point on until I had to go back for the bow. It happens. That's rando for you.
Right, that's rando, and well, and also because that's where the flippers were, so that's going to lead you in a couple other checks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, but yeah, overall, very, very clean though, very well played, and definitely very. It was definitely an entertaining seed on the restream side as well. It did turn out to be an Oops All Dungeons, I think, for everyone. I'm going to be. I don't know, you know, if we'll want to see the item collection rate, but.
I mean, I can speed this up. I didn't know this existed. I didn't know this existed, that you can just hold X to speed the menu up. I don't know how long that's been around, but I only learned about it like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, it is probably only about a month old.
Okay, that's why I only learned about it.
Yeah, it was only in this most recent version of the randomizer. And by the way, Adalor is
36 minutes.
Well, and also because the flute was also getting kind of worrisome as well, with that being that first check of Swamp Palace.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of. It was definitely an interesting seed there. Adalor is in the Ganon fight as well. Signums is in Ganon's Tower, as is Deep Fried.
Very cool. Well, I'm going to let you commentate on those three as they're finishing their games, but GG's to everybody who ran, including my fellow restreamed opponents, and thank you all who are in the chat. I don't have it pulled up or anything like that, so I can't see anything you're saying, but thanks for hanging out, and until next time.
Absolutely, and thank you for running such a great race, and enjoy. And we are on phase 4 for Adalor. And a collection rate of 168 of 216, which is still not, for an Oops All Dungeon seed, that's still pretty good. Adalor is on phase 4, by the way. Does get the torch glitch. So we'll go ahead and take care of that. But yeah, so Adalor is finishing up the Ganon fight. It just takes 12 spins. And fortunately, as well, in this form, like the Ganon Fire Bats are not nearly as deadly as they are in phases 1 and 2. That helps considerably. And there's the Butter Sword for Signums, and Deep Fried is going to be joining over on the left side. Oh, and Deep Fried is opting to do full right. Oh, actually, that is gonna be a problem because that's gonna be a last location, unfortunately, of the rando room, or not the rando room big key, but yeah. But Adalor is about to cross the finish line, does defeat Ganon. So please get your GGs in chat for Adalor. And Adalor finishes the seed at 2:04.16 for second place on Restream and 19th place overall. So unfortunately, Signums is going to be did get that big key, so we'll go ahead and actually with those silvers, this will be a quicker Ganon fight for Signums as well. Deep Fried is going to be taking down the Ice Armos Knights. Ooh, and Deep Fried is out of arrows at this point, so that is, or not quite out of arrows, but down to the 8 that you absolutely need to be able to continue up Ganon's tower. So that's why Deep Fried is opting to use the sword here instead. But meanwhile, Signums is into the gauntlet. Yeah, we had a good number. There were a good number of racers today, and let's see what was beyond this point. Unfortunately, it was not anything really needed. The big thing that would likely help would have been half magic. And half magic could be, yeah, that was unfortunately a whole lot of nothing. And there is going to be the completion of the gauntlet for Signums. Just needs to get past that room. Now for the Land Mollusk to fight. And it's funny, you know, the addition of the fire shooter in the corner, that just absolutely messes up with so much. But there is butter right there for Deep Fried. So the biggest thing that we could really be unfortunately, there aren't a whole lot of checks remaining in the game, but likely what we'd be looking for. Oh yeah, go ahead and grab that decanter there, Signums. You're going to be needing it right now. So half magic could either be in the mini Helma room, or it could be in Rando room. And we are joined by Adalor. GG to you.
The seat is broken. There's no progression in Pendant Pod.
I'll say, I'm trying to think of the last time I've seen Pendant Pod not be anything. Like, just completely nothing.
Yeah, that was, obviously I hard committed to it because I really wanted it to be a thing, and obviously there was nothing, and I was very disappointed. Yeah, I think I made decisions in basically all the wrong possible order in this seed, and that kind of made it take a while, huh?
Yeah, it was definitely a tricky seed just overall, especially with just with some of these item locations like the mitts, and that whole thing, and then and actually also the bow.
Yeah, that bow and Hera basement. So, like, if you go up the mountain, like, as soon as it's available, you do Hera basement, you get the bow. That bow is all that's on the mountain. That's it. There's nothing else up there. Then you go, like, then you just continue from there. Go do your Dark World stuff. You have to then go to Isolated Graveledge, and then you got to actually go also into Isolated Spike Cave. Well, I guess it's not so isolated later, maybe not, but the whole, it's just wild. Like, this is a really wild seed. I'm really kind of disappointed in myself by forgetting to do desert twice. The first time it actually worked out for me, because the first time I'm like, all right, I realized I didn't do desert when I was like on Dark Mountain. I'm like, oh crap, desert's not done. All right, I'm gonna dig for Ice Rod. If it's not here, I'm I'm gonna save and quit and go do desert and then like Smith Chain or something. Then the Bombus Medallion popped up. I'm like, oh man, I got to do Mire now, don't I? So I did Mire. I got the Ice Rod. I was laughing my head off after I killed Victorious because I'm like, it's actually here. I got really excited to go kill Trinex and forgot to do desert.
Oh no.
So that's why it's not like I intentionally put off desert twice. It's literally just forgetting it twice, and that made me sad.
Well, but it's also understandable because that is, for not only Vitreous, but also Vitreous, because I think at that point you had the Master Sword, so it was already a really tough fight, and knowing where the silvers were, it was a heck of a seed.
Yeah.
Well, and especially for being such a generous early.
Oh yeah, it started off so great. I was like, oh, this seed's gonna be nice and friendly, and then like it turns into these really like bottlenecked progression threads. Your light world's getting so thin, and you're like, all right, well, I got some dark world access. Clear all the dark world, and like, okay, where's the stuff? It's actually on these isolated checks. I actually had kind of a contingency for those silvers. I was thinking if I got through GT, at least on my first trip back down to go take care of Mire, I was thinking if I got through like TR and GT and I didn't have a sword, I would actually go pick them up because they would have saved more time overall on Master Sword Ganon than just trying to go for it. So I'm really glad I found a sword on the way. And I was like, all right, I don't need those silvers. That's fine. We can just go.
Right, and the fourth sword, by the way, was in Mimic Cave. And
okay.
Also, with the silvers, because Signums did actually go and pick up those silvers and is about to cross the finish line after taking down Ganon. So get your GGs in chat. And crosses the finish line at a time of 2:11:11 for third place on Restream and 25th place overall. So yeah, and then the flute location in the flute location over in Swamp. It was a rough seed, I think, overall.
Yeah, I was thinking about Swamp too, because I'm doing my Dark World route, right? Out of Village, going south. I'm thinking like I could do the front half of Swamp while I'm here, and I'm like, no, that's crazy. I'd really rather go to Green Pendant Pod and just like go find what's there and continue on. Yeah, that would have actually been doing Swamp would have been a great idea right then and there, because it would be just really timely. But
but c'est la vie. And it's also, again, Pendant Pod it has a reputation for a reason, and then it's just and it's also 6 checks plus the green pendant. So, and we are also joined by Signums. GG.
Sure. That does not feel like a GG.
Did you finish the seed? Did Ganon go down then?
I'll be honest, I only finished the seed because I was being restreamed. I would have been done about 20 or 30 minutes into finding no progress.
Yeah, it was definitely especially those Titans mitts. The Titans mitts were the big one that just
well, and then I was stupid. I was thinking where I wanted to go next instead of running back and checking the Bonk Rocks and the King's Tomb before I went up to do the cave.
For Spike Cave, which at least Spike Cave was required. At least there was that.
Was it? I thought there was nothing there.
That was Bombos.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah. So it's like one of those, like at least we had that. And you were you did pick up the silvers. So
yeah,
least,
why not at this point? At that point, I already had everything.
Right.
And since I knew they were there, I did not want to deal with Silverless Ganon. I was kind of tilted by this seed.
Right.
It's like, how can you check all of this and still not even have like tempered sword or anything useful? Ugh. Oh well.
So and actually, so Adalor Signums, what was y'all's reaction to finding like the? Well, okay, we won't talk about Titansmiths. Let's just forget about the Titansmiths for right now. But what about the flute?
That flute was interesting because I'm like, oh well, that's there. That suggests to me that possibly Meyer is required because like, what else would the flute do? And when you get it, and at that time it's like, oh, this does nothing. Unless you have myths before that, which I don't think a lot of people probably did. Like, oh, this does nothing right now. It would have been great to have earlier. I would have loved routing with this, but it's kind of hard to find where it is. You want to do other things first. But I had a suspicion upon finding the flute. I'm like, there's something in the Meyer area. And of course there was something in Meyer area. Hookshot was in Meyer Shed, so that made sense. I didn't think there were going to be two things in the Meyer area.
But yeah, it required double dip of swamp, and you know, if you're already gonna be able to do swamp, I mean, everyone double dip swamp like all the way through. I think everyone did left side swamp at that point. So
Yeah, like at that point you have to, because like you get through the first bit and you're like, all right, well, the flute is something, but it doesn't do anything immediately, and you're like, I need more. I need actual progression of this. I need to find something that gets me more. So I mean, you do left side swamp and you don't get anything for it, but you have to try at least.
right. All right. And Deep Fried is on the Ganon fight. Unfortunately, did miss the torch glitch, so we'll have to try for doubles here. I did see one blue potion still, but yeah, and then just the different, like the because I think everyone also, I think Adler, I think you were the only person who only did Turtle Rock once.
Yeah, I mean, I could have gone for it. I was sort of tempted to go for it, but I also knew that, again, that like I knew I needed to go back off the mountain anyway to do desert, because I forgot it the first time around. If I had only had TR left, if I'd done desert while I was down there, I probably would have gone for TR, because we've seen the ice rod in TR so many times. That would have just been the best play while being up there, and that would have ended up costing a good chunk of time for it. I mean, like that, forgetting desert the first time really worked out in my favor. The second time, not so much.
Yeah. Let's see.
No, I was like, as soon as I found the mitts and then I went and got the hook shot right away, I was like, okay, surely it's not gonna mess with me any more than this. Surely the ice rod's gonna be on the way now. It was not on the way.
Unfortunately, Deep Fried does take a Ganon fall. Gets knocked off by Ganon becoming visible right where he was standing.
Did he check to see that the silvers were on the?
I think everyone checked pedestal. At this point. And it is a green potion, at least on Pyramid Fairy, so...
Oh, okay.
So at least there's that. But...
All right, I need to get going. I need to go get dinner started. And but thank you, GG. Thank you for the restream. See you around sometime, Speed Gaming. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you, and GG Adalor. All right. So, Signums, any other thoughts about this seed?
It's kind of amazing we did all those checks and still didn't see half magic or powder.
Right? Well, and at this point, it kind of has to be Rando Room almost. I think that was the only room that the only location that no one checked.
Somebody go all the way to Armos? Or the Ice Armos?
So, yes. I think Deep Fried went full right side. So I guess the Tower Room, I guess, is also a possibility. But yeah, the Ice Armos chest wasn't anything. Deep Fried does get the torch glitch this time, though, so we'll have a much easier time conserving magic. But yeah, Powder and I forget. Had you done the Powder glitch to check what was on Magic Bat?
No, I didn't. That's literally the only overworld check that I don't have marked off.
Okay. Well, it was junky. I think it was just 20 rupees or a piece of heart, so you didn't miss much.
No, I routed Mushroom in when I after I did Pod, which was very disappointing. That was a very disappointing pod today.
Yeah, out of all the pod, like, yeah, a pendant pod not really having anything, not turning out to have anything, that was definitely unanticipated.
Yeah, I was thinking, oh, surely it's got to be there because I forgot to go there after I did Eastern. So that's what's going to get me today. Nope. Oh, well.
All right, but Ganon does go down on Deep Fried's side, so Deep Fried is about to cross that finish line. Get your GGs in chat. And Deep Fried has crossed the finish line in 4th place on Restream and 28th overall with an official time of 2:20:57. GG. But yeah, that seed, like, and like just kind of looking through some of the other finishers, like the first place Koride like finished in it with 1:44:03. Like it was a seed. Like when that's your first place. But yeah, for pretty much checking everywhere, it's still, I'm still trying to think of where there are the remaining like item locations as well.
Oh, for the stuff we didn't? For the collection rate?
Right, like.
Well, there were a lot of items you checked and just didn't bother picking up.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
The island, the Zora Ledge, K45, the race game, the library. So.
And that's a good point. All those like here and there kind of.
Yeah, probably 6 to 10 items like that you checked and just didn't pick up.
And then I guess plus the 15, let's say the 15 in GT as well. Oh, I guess Mini Helma could have had half magic as another location. And we are joined in chat by Deep Fried 87. GG.
Yeah, GG. That was a mess.
It's over. The seed can't hurt anyone anymore.
I don't know what was worse. Ice Rod on Vidi, but the hook shot locked by Flute in Swamp. That's this whole thing. It started out great. There was so many just like, oh look, all of the stuff that just means that this entire seed is gonna be horrible.
And then, although Deep Fried, if I remember correctly, did you pick up the bow like after completing Hera, like immediately after?
No. I said one item in Hera Basement. I got the whole right side of the mountain and everything else. What are the odds that that's gonna bite me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, And then yeah, it was a heck of a seed. Also, just especially for the Titan Smiths, that chain.
That was what? That was cape on Graveyard Ledge to Boots to King's Tomb.
Yep. I mean, and the problem is because you don't know, like, hey, the mitts are in King's Tomb, but at least all of those items were clustered together. It's just you didn't know that would actually pay out until checking. And Graveyard Ledge is not a popular place.
No, every gamble I could have taken went wrong that game. Gotta love it. That's a great first time ever on a restream for that kind of a seed.
But think of it this way. Ganon went down, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
There you go.
I was not giving up. I'm like, first time on, I don't care if it takes me 2.5 hours, I'm finishing the seed. I'm just gonna finish, I'm not quitting on it. Because then it's like, all right, there's so many items up there. What are the odds Ice Rod's got to be up there? I'm hoping, and then no, it's just everything. This whole seed was just.
I mean, and you were not the only one.
Oh no.
I think Adalor on Restream was the only person to try Turtle Rock, or Adalor was the only one to skip Turtle Rock until having the Ice Rod. So.
Yeah, that was. Hal, thanks for the restream. Appreciate it. It's good fun as always. For the Link to the Past, I'm gonna go somewhere else after this one. This was.
But again, you finished, so that's the important part. So.
Yep.
But yeah, GG to you, and
thank you. GG to everybody else that made it through this slog.
All right, and Signum. All right, and Signums, do you have any other thoughts on the seed?
No, not really. Just kind of hanging out.
All right. So that will just about do it for us today. I'm going to go ahead and check the schedule to see what we've got coming up this week. Because Speed Gaming, the Link to the Past daily races are played every day except for Saturday at 2 p.m. or 9 p.m. or 11 p.m. So, and actually, coming up tomorrow at 9 p.m., we're going to have an inverted all dungeons T-Sanity race. So that'll be an experience, if anything. And then coming up later on Speed Gaming, we will be having Super Metroid Triple Bingo. The quarterfinals starting at 9 p.m. Over on Speed Gaming. We also have the Zelda 1 Randomizer Weekly Race at 10 p.m. Eastern over on Speed Gaming. Well, actually right here on Speed Gaming 2. All right, and I think that will just about wrap it up for us. I'd like to thank everyone for helping out, for Adlor, Deep Fried, Signums, and Slumberjack for being on Restream. Very much appreciate it. Oasis for helping get us set up, for Terry Pagula and Eternal September for tracking. I've been Sorcerer Finch, and have a great rest of the day, everyone. Take it easy.